I love it. Art and poetry all at once. Welcome to the 440 Gallery. Before we get started, just please take a second and switch your ringers off. Thank you. That way we don't interrupt Susana while she's reading. And thanks for coming out on an icy cold Sunday. Just want to welcome you to the 440 Gallery. We're an artist-run space, and we've been here since 2005. So that's putting us pretty close to 14 years, which is pretty exciting. And you're sitting amongst 50 artworks by about 40 different artists from all over the United States. This is our 14th annual Small Work Show. And it was juried by Nicole Keck, who is a curator at The Kitchen and has also worked at MoMA as well. So you got someone with a very good eye picking out artwork for us. So you know the drill. You're going to hear some great poetry. I'm going to let Daryl introduce you to that. I think that's all I have to say, so thank you.
I want you to give a wonderful warm welcome to Susana for sharing her afternoon with us. Okay, for sharing your afternoon with us.
Thank you, Daryl, and thank you, everyone from 440 Gallery, for having me. And unlike you, Daryl, I did not have to give up a football game to come here. And introduce some of the poems from this project. This was a project in which I attempted to make poems from newspaper coverage of the war in Syria. It's a war so far in which at least 500,000 people have died, and about a third are still not even identified. And it isn't even really clear how many people have died, because there could be many more that are dead. What we really know is that many of the dead are civilians, maybe close to half, according to the Syrian Network for Human Rights. And so I started my project after the U.S. bombed Syria in April of 2017 and continued for an arbitrary number of days. I could have a very thick number of erasures at this point, but at a certain point stopped. And I used news coverage of the U.S. bombing and then events that followed to create a series of erasure poems. And they're kind of, basically I took a newspaper article and eliminated most of it. So they're all kind of small fragments of text, which doesn't lend itself that easily to reading. I'm going to give it a little try. I started with the New York Times. On day 11, the New York Times just stopped covering Syria again, and so I switched to Al Jazeera and a little bit of CNN. And the text on every page is compressed into a black square, and laid out in a different way. And the only rules I followed was that the text in the poem should follow the text in the article, and I didn't put in any words, although I could take away a lot of words. And what I was trying to do is, because it's such an extreme example of a country's destruction, I was trying to reflect that destruction in the poems. I was interested in how war is talked about. I'm still interested in how war is talked about and what its impacts are. And so I made choices which, if someone else doing this would make completely different choices, and you'd probably have a different set of poems. So I'm just going to read a selection of them, and I'm going to start on day 6. I'm not going to hold them all up, but just to give you an idea. Day 6. Not exactly a happy time cocktail party. It was a prank of a provocative nature, the carnage last week. Day 8. Mother Arsenal, authorize my casualty, call in the inhuman. Day 9. Air, crush, surrender, future. This will never be over. People have become skeletons. Day 10. Staggering catalog of the tortured, encourage the blood, often on video, extensive conspiracy, loved ones have disappeared without a trace. Day 12. He doesn't know if the boy survived. Day 15. Children play with rocks. A man watches the hills. Day 17. Slaughter, stoking shock waves, scorched earth, mistakes. We let things go too long. Day 19. 271 employees punished. A strong message. Hold accountable the barbaric airfield. Day 21. We are very concerned, deeply concerned. We have expressed those concerns. There was less than an hour's notice before the strikes. Day 28. Life into tragedy. Sugar doubled over the last few days. Medicine must be allowed. Day 30. Clear the dust, yellow mist. Children have become birds in heaven, death, dreaming about a small boy. Day 31. A new deal. Questions remain. Ensure they have no sanctuary, no clear mechanism. Envision on the ground checkpoints and observation posts. Day 37. Storming the city without any partner, we thank anyone who wants to help the severely damaged. Day 38. The use of evacuations, of siege tactics, supplies dwindle, prices rocket, fallen through time. Day 40. A large number of executions. The roof of the building, suspected to be a crematory, was free of snow. Day 42. The crime against humanity of extermination, the scent of something like burning hair. Day 47. Car bomb blast, separate explosion, blast, explosion, car bomb blast, car explosion, blast, conflict enters its 7th year. And on it goes. Gives you a flavor on it. Different tone and Recto. I'm going to read a more traditional poem, which is on the same subject, really. And this is called Herds. The men are unloading goats from a boat onto the sandy beach of Paleocora. A few goats escape, run wild through the port, only to be surrounded, tied up, and carted by wheelbarrow into town, while a large pelican sits on the beach wall watching. This happens often, both before and after the refugees arrive, half dead from across the Mediterranean, Somali, Sudanese, Egyptian, Syrian. They've mistaken the island for Italy. Herded into a gym, police paint registration numbers on their arms as they sleep. Names are ignored. We are human, we have names, they complain. There is so little left. In some parts of the world, even the goats have names. I never used to write about doctor visits. Stress test. You feel like a multi-outlet power strip, too small office, cords sprawled out in every direction, nothing on walls to look at but a galaxy of diplomas from all the right schools. You're wrapped half naked in blue plasticized paper, a gown. It's not exactly a debutante moment. This is not how you'd like first to meet a handsome young man, the doctor. He's not looking at you anyway. You can hear your heart, its digitized sound, insistent. You wanted to say something nice, not nag on behalf of early disease or congenital curse. You think it would be pleasant to die of something else entirely and not anytime soon. On the screen, it looks like a bloated toad stretching his dewlap. You hope he's singing, "Hey honey, let's grab a steak and beer when we get out of here." Dead shark on the end train. Poor brown fish beached at Coney Island, then carried in someone's arms to the roller coaster, where another man thought it beautiful and tried to transport it home, only to abandon it on the subway. And you know how it is in New York City. Nothing surprises anyone. The car reeked of dead shark, and passengers took photos, debating Instagram filters, when the conductor asked everyone to leave and closed off the train. At the end of the line in Queens, a transit worker plastic bagged the body and normalized the car. I fled Queens when I grew up. Like sharks that migrate freely, I traveled to survive, didn't want to reach the end of my line in the same place I started out from, though I ended up just on the other side of the river. When someone on the number 1 had a heart attack and died, his corpse rode the loop from South Ferry to the Bronx and back to South Ferry twice. Like a man in his habitat, he seemed to be napping. Unlike the shark, no one put a Metro card under his fin, cigarette in his jaws, can of Red Bull by his side for the journey. And then I would end with a golden oldie from an earlier book, 4 Rooms with You, which I wrote when I was, before I was writing about doctor visits, and is a sort of prayer for how I wanted, or at the time I wrote it, still want actually, the rest of my life to unfold. So I'm going to leave you with incantation. The best thing to die from is living. Let me kill myself slowly with pleasure. Let me dance round and round in circles first. Let me blow a lot of fuses. Let me age like a good slab of steak, tender, with the mold trimmed. Let me be a car going 80 miles per hour. Let me reach 80. The exquisite torture of those many years is compelling. Let them not be Chaplin-esque. Let them say she never knew what hit her. Let it be like the one James Dean got, only much later. Let me not surrender to humiliations. Let me end when my mind, still sharp, is somewhere else, dreaming of perfectly grilled lamb, the rosemary perfume so strong it could be sealed in my pillow, of hot sex, and let that be not so long gone that it burns like a bad joke. In the valley of the shadow of death, I'd still like my red lipstick, please. Let me rest, not reach my waist. Let there be very little scar tissue on me at the time, and let there be a weeping willow. Under it, a significantly younger man, my own little honey cake, who is weeping too, though I don't wish that on him for long. He'll have a life to live.